Okay, the next machine I'm going to show you next is the bandsaws. We've got 5 of them in total. In my opinion, this bandsaw and the large one there are the best 2 machines that we've got. I know it's a little bit daunting because of the size of the machine, but they do give you a better cut. Because of the speed of the bandsaw as well, it means that you've got less force on the material, so you're actually less likely to have an accident on a big bandsaw than what you are with the small axe minsters, which I'll show you in a few minutes, okay? Before you start the machine, there's a few adjustments that you must make. The first one is the guarding. Now on this bandsaw, the guarding is the adjustments around the back here. You've got a silver handle that you undo, okay? You then manually pull the guard down to as close as practicable to your workpiece and then lock off there, okay? You've also got a side fence which has a larger version of that same design on the handle on the back there, should you want to use it. Just turn it anti-clockwise to undo, and then you can slide the fence nice and easy along the side there. When you're finished, turn it clockwise to lock off, okay? For today though, it's not really necessary, so you can move that out of the way. Another safety feature that I've got is the push sticks. These are 450mm long, ideal for cleaning away any offcuts. By all means, use this push stick instead of your hands for clearing away any of the offcuts, especially while the bandsaw's working. Make sure you get into the habit as well of having your hands either side of the bandsaw blade and not in line. With the MDF, it's a constant material, so you're not going to have any nasties in there like cracks or splits or shakes. But when you're cutting hardwoods, you might come across something like that and your force or momentum's there, and that's where you can slip and have an accident on the bandsaw, okay? So please get used to having your hands either side of the blade. Now, on your puzzle that you've got here on the MDF is a little round circle. That's going to be impossible to cut out on the bandsaw. So all I want you to do, when first of all, your first operation is doing the hole while it's a nice big panel. Your next operations is cutting out the circle and the small square, keeping your hands nice distance away from the small parts. After today as well, if you do want to do any small parts cut out on the bandsaw, please use the double-sided tape and an offcut of MDF to stick your small part on, and that way you can cut that out nice and safe, keeping your fingers away from the blade. The machine's a downward cut, okay? So there's no revolving towards you, so at any point, if you want to let go of your material, you can do nice and safely. The one thing I will say about the bandsaw blade is that if you have one break on you, it will go with an almighty bang because of the tension on the rollers at the top. You've got an idler roller at the top, which is just a free running wheel at the top there. The bottom wheel is power driven, okay? So if you have a bandsaw blade break on you, you'll hear the almighty bang and the blade will stop cutting immediately. The thing that you need to remember, most importantly, is leave your workpiece wherever it is. Whatever you do, don't try and retract your workpiece from the bandsaw blade, okay? The reason for that is it takes about 3 or 4 minutes for the top wheel to actually stop, and the blade can get entangled with that pulley. And because of the side of the guard here is exposed, and if your hands are at the side when you're trying to wiggle your workpiece out, it can literally come down the side here and give you a nasty laceration on the back of your hand, okay? Worst case scenario. So don't panic, you're not getting into trouble. If anything breaks here, nothing lasts forever. Just leave your workpiece where it is, turn the machine off, and come and fetch a member of staff and we'll sort it out for you, okay? You can also ruin your work as well from trying to wiggle your workpiece out from the blade, so it's in your best interest to leave it wherever it is finished its cut. The bandsaw blades are all fitted with DC braking, so they must stop within 10 seconds from when you're pressing the button. You've got a straightforward on and off switch here on the left. Okay, make sure that the machine is running at full speed before you start cutting. It's not a problem on these large bandsaws. The small axe minsters take quite a while to get up to full speed. When you turn the machine off, you'll hear a buzzing noise. Okay, that's the DC braking. With the extraction on, you won't be able to hear that, but if you put your hand on the bed, you'll feel the vibrating of the braking module kicking in. Make sure that that's finished buzzing before you try and restart the bandsaw. Otherwise, it's a bit like driving your car with a handbrake on. Eventually, something's going to burn out, okay? So that's the safety features for that machine. Turn the machine on. We're going to, as I mentioned before, we're going to cut the square and the circle out. Now with the radius being too tight there for cutting out, we're just going to cut that out as an oversized square. Making sure that your hands are well away from the blade. You can pull back on the blade as well. Go for our second cut. Pulling back again. We're going to cut the excess material away. And then the last cut will relieve your workpiece from the actual panel. Again, make sure you use the push stick to move your piece parts out of the way. The square, which is the next piece we're going to cut out. Nice and steady. You can leave a small tab on there as well, so you can break that off afterwards. That way you're not running the risk of getting your fingers anywhere near the blade. Now in future, if you wanted to do any curved work and you're finding that it's starting to bind on the machine, you could do something that's called tooth combing. So you do a series of small slits. That way when you start doing your curved cut, the back of the bandsaw blade will be pushing those small slithers away from the machine itself. If you haven't got that relieving cut, with that high-pitched squealing, that's where the back of the blade is rubbing on the material, starts to burn. That's where heat can build up in the blade, and eventually that heat will have cracks in the blade, and that's when the blade can break as well. So please make sure you do those tooth combing techniques if you're doing any tight curved work. Again, once you finish the machine, make sure you turn the machine off. Machine stationary, and also all of your offcuts throw away in the bin. The most common accident on bandsaws, believe it or not, is from trying to clean the machine afterwards, and that's where the bandsaw blade's still moving and people are using their hands to clean the bandsaw blade, the bandsaw table down, okay? Please don't do that. Please use the push sticks as provided, okay? The Axminster bandsaws, which I'll show you next with the differences, they're slightly different for the rise and fall. There's only two parts on the machine that you need to touch for adjusting. The first one is for the rise and fall here. You've got a handle that you wind, okay, up and down. Now, depending on the height of the person, that will dictate whereabouts you need the guard setting. The last thing I want is someone who's, say, 6.5 foot tall to have the guard really low down and then stoop into cut, okay? So make sure that you've got it as close as practical to your workpiece, and also that it's comfortable for yourself, so you're not stooping and cutting. You can still stand upright and still see the actual blade itself that you're cutting with. The adjustment for the fence here, we've got this side fence for if you're wanting to do any close work, because these guides here get in the way of the blade as well. But you just lift the handle up, you slide the guard over, and then you push the handle down, and then that locks into position. Please don't unscrew the black handle. It's not going to do anything on there, okay? It's just a straightforward cam lock, so you just lift the handle up and then just push down to lock into place, okay? This is here so you can drop onto your workpiece, so you can get it nice and close to the bandsaw blade. The one thing I don't want to see students doing, which is very common, is where students have got the bandsaw guard on here and then they're winding it down onto the actual side of the fence, because that will knock the guides out. The reason why you have the guard set nice and low is not only for safety for if you do slip and you're going to hit the guard in, but also you've got guides either side of the blade on all of the bandsaws, and that helps keep your blade nice and straight, and it's not going to twist or deviate from your line of cut. Now these small Axminster bandsaws, they take a long while to start up and to stop. On and off switch is here on the left hand side, the same as the other bandsaw. See, it takes a few seconds for it to start up to full speed. A little red light turns on here as well. When you turn the machine off, the braking module stays on for a good 10-15 seconds though. Again, if you put your hand on the bed, you can hear it as well buzzing. Now it's finished. Just make sure that that vibration of the motor there has actually stopped before you turn the machine back on again after you've made any of your adjustments. Again, if you have a bandsaw brake on here, it's the same setup as the large bandsaw. You'll hear an almighty bang. Just leave your workpiece in the line of cut and turn the machine off, okay? There is a maximum thickness of cut on here as well, which is states here, maximum 50mm thick for your timbers. You can cut your full thickness foams on here as well though, okay. You will notice the difference in the bandsaw blade from cutting thick materials on here to the large bandsaw. You'll hear it squealing and start to struggle. So please make sure that if you're using any hardwoods or any timbers, I'd recommend that you use the large bandsaw and just mainly keep these smaller bandsaws for your MDFs and foams really. That way you're going to get a longer life out of the blade and you're reducing the risk of you actually slipping and having an accident with these smaller machines.